Good morning, everyone. Gazalelo here, Bondi Guru. I hope you're all doing wonderful. Just making sure, is it? Yep, it's 8 a.m. Here we are, Friday, the 14th of November, and we're back on another live. Just a reminder that these lives are only Monday and Friday. They won't be done on weekends. Of course, I do my best to get the daily intuitive horoscopes out on the weekends as well, but just not in a live format. So, that being said, as we dive into the content, first and most important piece of wisdom I can share with you is present moment awareness. So, just a reminder to bring your attention to feeling sensations in the energy field of your feet or anywhere in your body that then supports you to have your attention in the here and now. Most important. In fact, that's the most important thing you can get from these forecasts is the power of being in the present moment and then accessing your own intuition. Learning also the difference between intuition and thinking, because there's a world of difference, and I feel like a lot of people get very confused between the two. Well, how do I know it's my intuition? Which is a question I hear all the time. How do I know it's my intuition? First of all, just to be clear, intuition doesn't have any emotions. So there's no, it's intuition because it's not emotional. As soon as you're emotional about something, that's not you tapping into intuition. So there's no emotion involved with intuition, and also intuition isn't about right or wrong, good or bad, anything. That's all judgment, which keeps you further away from intuition. I'm going to talk a lot more about intuition and present moment awareness in the new weekly classes that I'll be delivering, which is intuition and present moment awareness classes. And I feel like in that space, I'll offer so many practical solutions and practical, I say, not necessarily ideas, but ways for you guys to understand how easy it can be to be in the present moment, to keep accessing the present moment. Here's the thing. The moment you wake up in the morning, there's a whole bunch of thoughts that are from yesterday, the day before, so on and so forth, for many years, that are on repeat in your head over and over and over again. So you're either going to wake up and give all of your energy and attention to that and listen to those thoughts, or you're going to shift the inner dialogue, which takes a lot of persistence and consistency, and keep shifting the inner dialogue. So what is it that you want? For example, what I would suggest is ask yourself the question, how do I love to feel today? Just start with there. Excuse me. And just that alone can shift your focus. Then I would recommend, I'm going to talk about this in the course, that you have a truth statement. And the truth statement could be anything that is connected and aligned with a vision or dream you're bringing to fruition. And that's got to be on repeat all day long. It's not a mantra. It's not you're hoping that it's happening or it's going to happen or you're going to bring it to fruition. It's something that's already happening right now. And so that's what you're consistently and continuously reminding yourself. You need those reminders, and you need to hear it in your own voice, not in my voice, not in anybody else's voice. Your voice is the most powerful voice you have. And so you need to be able to hear this in your own voice. So the thoughts in your head are going to compete. And the thoughts are majority of the time limited and telling you what you can't do, what isn't possible. It's all day long, whether you're aware of it or not, that's what you're listening to. So I say, let's replace that with something different. That means, though, that you'll find yourself having to replace it and consistently and continuously give attention to the new dialogue and saying the new inner dialogue over and over and over again. Sometimes I'll find myself saying it 300,000 times a day, if that's what it takes, because I would rather give energy and attention to what I love than fears, doubts, limitations based on things that are not even true and or based on past experiences. You want to keep bringing your attention back into the here and now. Okay, that's the tip for today. Now, we're going to dive into the daily forecast for today. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out. Feel free to ask here. Every so often I'll look at the screen, but generally what I'm doing here is delivering the daily forecast. So I'm not necessarily looking at the screen. I can't really see who's here, who isn't. So, Aries. just make sure. Yeah. A brilliant idea. Actually, let me start again. Sorry. I just realized I pressed record on the wrong thing. Okay, start again. You have a brilliant idea that lands for you today, dear Aries. And it's an idea that makes sense and also helps you understand some of the lessons that have been in your life and quite prominent in recent times. Or I want to go as far as saying maybe recent 2 to 3 months. And so, what you'll be able to do today is move on from these lessons. You'll get what the lessons are here for. You'll understand how they have supported you, and you'll be able to walk away knowing that you can implement these lessons into your day to day life. So, it's this idea, however, that lands for you and helps you to understand what these lessons are. Without this idea, I feel like you're a little bit all over the place. I think is the best way to describe it, meaning that your attention is everywhere. So the moment this idea, which I'm calling it the brilliant idea, lands for you today, and it's something very simple, okay? The moment it lands for you, it's comes with an understanding of, oh, okay, I can see what these lessons are. 2 to 3 lessons you've had that have been most prominent in recent months, and I can learn from these lessons. There's a lot of appreciation that also shows up once you can see a lesson for what it is and recognize how it's supported you, who it's supported you to become. Then it's so easy to just appreciate that lesson. And that's what basically happens for the Aries today. I also feel like it's going to be really great for you to be able to write down what you're going to implement from these lessons into your day to day life. I don't know why, but I get the feeling writing it down is going to be incredibly valuable for you. I always say when you're listening to these forecasts, if you're an avid listener or reader, I would recommend that you just grab an exercise book and you bring it, or a journal, whatever you want to call it, and bring it to every live session and or bring it to every audio or video you watch, because there are insights that land for you at your level of consciousness, your level of awareness. Those insights are far more powerful than the insights that I can offer you. And I'll keep repeating this. And I'm always on repeat. I know somebody yesterday I put on Instagram that you're always repeating stuff. I'm like, yeah, I am. Of course I am. And I'll continue to repeat. I will always repeat present moment awareness, accessing intuition. Good morning, Isabella. The fact that you can access your own power. I've never said any of this is really easy. However, I will continuously repeat over and over and over again, which will upset some people and they'll move along, and other people will thrive off of that. Anyway, let's dive into the Taurians. I love this one. I love it when I get to share with the Taurians that they have power. I love that. I feel like every so often the Taurians just need to hear it. They need to hear that they are capable. They need to hear that, hey, you've got this. You can do this. Every so often, I feel like that moment of, hey, you've got this, you can do this, can support the Taurians to go for weeks and months on end without needing any more validation of any kind. It just helps them recognize the power that they have or that you have. The dream is in your hands, dear Taurus. It's up to you. And today you have the opportunity to recognize the power that you have when it comes to this dream. Here's the thing I want to get across to you as clearly as I possibly can. When I say you have the power to bring this dream to fruition, it's not about bringing it to fruition in one day and that shows you that you have power. That is ego. That shows you how disempowered you are, right? Because I know these are just ideas, thoughts that the ego presents, which is, well, if you really have power, then you'd be able to bring it all to fruition in one day, or you'd be able to do this and do that. That's just the ego talking. And it's really important that you recognize the difference between the ego's version of power and your true power. Your true power is in the present moment. You have access to it. It's by accessing your true power that allows you to bring this dream or vision, or a dream or vision, to fruition. Now, what's valuable here are the steps that you take along the journey. Having power isn't about bringing it all to fruition in one day. Because even if you could, let's just say you did do that, bring the entire vision to fruition in one day, you're not going to be able to handle it. You didn't grow. You didn't become the person you needed to become to handle the vision or the dream. You didn't fall and fail and stand and rise. You didn't get to experience that you're capable in your capacity. You don't get any of that if you could bring it all to fruition in one day. So you'd bring it to fruition and you'd lose it in around the same time. I'm sharing this with you because I feel like the reminder for you that is most valuable at the moment is, yes, you've got this. This dream is in your hands. You are capable, step by step, moment to moment. What is important here is who you become in the process, and the part of yourself, the parts of yourself, that you get to access, rather than bringing the whole thing to fruition in one day. Don't waste time and energy on those types of thoughts. I say reckon, but I reckon that a lot of people, and this is very common, want to bring a dream or vision or many of their dreams to fruition just overnight. And I think a lot of people go, oh, if I could, that's exactly what I would do. But they wouldn't be able to handle it. You need to have space for whatever your dream is that you're bringing to fruition. You've got to have space for it. Otherwise, the moment the vision or dream comes to fruition, just as fast as it comes in, it's just as fast as it will go out. You need to have space. There's got to be some maturity to know how to handle what comes with bringing that dream to fruition. There's no such thing as, oh, I'm going to bring the dream to fruition and live happily ever after. That doesn't exist. So, and I'm sharing this not to be doom and gloom, but just as a bit of a reality check and a reminder that it's not worth buying into those thoughts that are convincing you to compare your life to everybody else's life or to somebody that you think is incredibly successful. And you then convince yourself that that's the life you need to be living. And you've got to get there as fast as you possibly can. It's about appreciating every single damn step on the journey that you're on. Every step needs to be appreciated. Every single step needs to be appreciated. I think it's so important. That's what helps you recognize your maturity, your capacity, patience. Oh my goodness, is that a very good one? It's a difficult one, but it's a good one. Excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. I woke up this morning with, I don't know if there's something in the air, but with a lot of congestion. Okay, now for the Gemini. It's incredibly important for you today, the Gemini, to stay as present as you possibly can, as memories and ideas from the past will sweep through. Now, the reason that these memories and ideas from the past are rising to the surface is because now you've created space for them to move through. When I say created space, this is what it kind of looks like. You've started to disengage from certain thoughts and ideas that you now know don't serve you. And these are thoughts and ideas that you've been engaged with for quite some time, not realizing that they don't serve you, they don't serve your greater purpose, whatever that may be. They don't support you to be in the present moment, to be here, to live your best life, so on and so forth. So today, first most important thing is present moment awareness. Bringing your attention to the present moment. This way you can hold the space so that you don't tumble into judgment and then start to go down that spiral again. You don't need to go down that spiral. It's very easy for lots of different thoughts and emotions to arise and for all of us to then be in judgment of those thoughts. Oh, that's a bad thought, or this is an awful emotion. I don't want to feel like these things of that nature. All that does is creates a pathway back down that downward spiral. So your opportunity today is the flow of the breath. Your opportunity today is, so every so often, stamp your feet on the ground and be here. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Take the time to ground yourself in whatever way that best serves and supports you. And the thoughts and emotions that arise for you that are from the past, in particular, certain ideas about how life is supposed to go. These are ideas from the past. Leave a door open and allow them all to pass through. Leaving a door open, you can use your imagination. Go into your imagination, envision like a room, open all the doors and windows, and this way, just through your imagination alone, that's you basically telling your body, your mind, hey, we're going to stay open today. Whatever arises, we're also going to let it pass through. No judgment. That's key for you. And just to be clear, this is occurring because you're shifting. It's occurring because you're now moving to a new space or phase of your life. You're leveling up right now. And so as you level up, and each time you level up, old thoughts and ideas, there are so many old thoughts and ideas and memories that we are all so plugged into and consumed by that it's almost impossible to say that we are living our lives to the best, not to the best of our ability, but that we are living our lives here now and choosing our own choices. That's very rare. That's very rare to even consider the fact that you are choosing a choice that truly belongs to you. Because majority of our time and energy is on these thoughts and ideas from the past. Either we're trying to figure something out, work it out, or we're continuing to recreate the same experience, whether emotionally, physically, in whatever form. It's continuously playing out the same patterns because of the amount of attention we give to thoughts and ideas from the past. Any thought, right? Most thoughts are just past and future. The thought isn't here and now. Now, the opportunity in particular for the Geminis at the moment is continuing to come back and ground because these thoughts and ideas now want to pass through. So what this suggests to me is that you're in a really great space because you've opened to, I would say, the fact that certain thoughts and ideas from the past that have consumed you are not serving you. There's a realization that this is not useful for me. Of course, you're not going to use those words. They're my words. You'll have your own words. But that's kind of the energy that I'm sensing for the Geminis. Okay. I hope everyone's having a lovely morning so far. Well, here in Sydney, it's morning. Other places in the world, it's not. But now, Cancer. Oh, I love this. Just so you guys know, what I'm looking at is my book. So earlier in the week, I decided that I was going to sit down and prepare for these sessions, which I normally don't. And the only reason I wanted to prepare is so that I can move through the content. I want to say a lot faster, so it doesn't take up most of my day because there's so much more work that also needs to be done and taken care of after these forecasts are delivered. And so the idea was, okay, I'll write one line for each star sign for the entire week ahead. And that one line gives me exactly what I need. And it's a bit of a, boom, this is what we're going to talk about. And it just lands. So that's what you're seeing me look at, by the way. One line. One line is, in fact, sometimes it's just one word. All I need sometimes is one word. And from that one word, boom, it's all there. You have the opportunity to operate from a space that feels effortless, dear Cancer. Now, in order for you to understand what this opportunity is and to see it as an opportunity, you have to be willing to put the effort into being in the present moment. So wherever something becomes effortless, it's because you put the effort in. Sometimes, however, what happens is you put effort in places you don't need to. And that, for example, would be putting a lot of effort on something that's external, but really the work is done internally. So your opportunity today is to recognize that there are some areas of your life that can feel more effortless. However, in order for that to occur, the effort that is required is you practicing and continuously bringing your attention back to the present moment so that you can operate from the present moment. When you're operating from the present moment, you'll feel the effortlessness. You'll also feel the ease and grace. It doesn't mean life is easy, and that's not what I'm suggesting. However, there's an energy of ease and grace that you get to lock into. And through the energy of ease and grace, the decisions that once felt incredibly difficult for you to honor or to make just feel effortless. And so the key for the Cancerians is to be able to operate from this space that feels effortless by putting effort into coming back to the present moment. Use the flow of your breath, or use the sensations in the inner energy field of your body, which is the doorway into the here and now, and keep coming back to those sensations and feeling them. Keep coming back to the flow of the breath, noticing. A thought will come in and distract you. Oh, I've gone, I've drifted off, I'm back again. And keep reminding yourself, coming back to the present moment, I'm now feeling the flow of the breath. I have my attention on, this moment right now. Take a couple of seconds, be here, and then continue with your moment. And this is how you start to feel the effortlessness of the here and now. To me, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I want to say this. It's not enough to wake up in the morning and just spend 5 seconds of your morning getting present and then convincing yourself that that's it, you're living life. It takes way more than that. It takes a lot of work. It's so much of your attention needs to keep coming back to the present moment. If you think about it, a lot of your attention is on right now. Even where is your attention right now? What I would recommend is, I used to do this exercise with a lot of my clients, is just get a piece of paper and write, where is my attention right now? And put it in different places in your home or space. Every so often, allow your eyes to land on, where is my attention right now? Because that can support you to come back to the present moment as well. Any reminder for present moment awareness is worth your time. And a reminder that your attention is your power. Beautiful. So we have the Leo now. Excuse me. Oh, goodness. Your ability to believe in yourself is growing super fast at the moment, dear Leo. And so this tells you that there are changes that you've been implementing. And I feel like these are changes you implemented some time ago. They're not necessarily changes that you implemented in the last 2 days and all of a sudden, everything changes and you have this great ability to grow super fast. It's not the case. These are decisions you made some time ago. They're decisions that you followed through with in some of the harder, more difficult times of your life. And now you're noticing that your ability to believe in yourself feels more natural. It almost feels more normal to believe in yourself than it does not to believe in yourself. Now, some Leos will watch this and listen and go, nope, that's not true, and they'll negate what I'm saying, which is fine. That's part of your process. If you're one of those Leos that find yourself negating what these words are sharing with you, then it means that the space that you're listening from is not useful. So I would recommend that you bring your attention to feeling sensations, being in the present moment, notice the flow of your breath, notice the space that you're in, then listen to these words. Because what I really would love for you to take in today is that your ability to believe in yourself is far more natural now than it has ever been. And so believing in yourself is now going to become more of the norm than not believing in yourself. So it's up to you to take this in and use this energy to continue making decisions, following through, and moving forward. The reason I say some Leos will negate, and look, I understand that these forecasts are not for everybody, okay? And the reason that they're not for everybody, because there are so many people on this planet that want to continue to fight for their limitations, and there's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing I can do about that. There are people that want to say, nope, this is not true. You know, life is shit, life is this. Da, da, da. I'm not saying they're right, wrong, good or bad. It's not relevant. The more present you are, which takes a lot of work and practice, the more you focus on bringing your attention to the present moment, the easier these forecasts will land for you. I get the feedback where people go, oh, sometime, 90% of the time or 99% of the time, these are accurate. It's got nothing to do with accuracy. It has nothing to do with accuracy. It has to do with your ability to be in the present moment and take the message that is here for you and use it to come back to your own intuition. That's the purpose of these. These are not predictions about what's going to happen in your future. They're not cards. They're not psychic readings, which is why I don't like the word reading. If I could, I'd stay away from it. I don't even like, if I'm honest, being in this industry because it's a lot of airy-fairy, esoteric stuff that people cannot implement. They can't use as practical advice or practical practical steps to be where is most important, which is the present moment. So to me, there's a lot of just, I say this lovingly, to me, it may not be the case for lots of other people, but there's just a lot of airy-fairiness floating about. You know, I hear people say it's all one energy. You're talking shit. Yes, I agree it's all one energy, but until you really know that, don't talk about it. And so what will allow you to recognize and feel that it's one energy is you being in the present moment, accessing your intuition and continuing to come back to the present moment and truly allow yourself to land here. Which is, if I had another way of sharing these messages, I would use a different platform. I wouldn't use star signs at all. And part of the reason for that is because of how sometimes airy-fairy star sign readers can become or be, or they rely on this idea that, oh, something's just magically going to change because I deserve that now or because I've suffered or whatever. And that's not the case. It's not, things don't just magically change. There is magic 100%. I'm not saying that there isn't. It's just you don't really truly get to experience the magic until you're in the here and now. So if it's magic you want to experience, if it's a miracle you want to experience as an example, then you need to learn to bring your attention to the present moment. Your power is accessible to you via the present moment only. Everything else is just an idea, a thought, past, future, none of which is actually real. So that's why I'm saying for some of the Leos, they're not going to be able to take this in because they're busy fighting for their limitation, and their limitation makes them feel good. And to be able to say, it gives them some form of significance. Yeah, no, the truth is I don't believe in myself, and things of that nature. I remember many years ago, I sat with somebody in a group format. I was running a group session, and this person had such a low view of themselves. They were so limited in how they thought about who they were. And they were so identified with thoughts and ideas that they were so limited. And their idea was they didn't have any ego. And I looked at him and was like, yes, you do. That alone is a bigger ego than the person that believes in themselves. And this person was shocked. It was like, how? But I don't have self-esteem. I don't have confidence. I was like, all of that is your ego talking shit and convincing you that you're less than, you're not capable. And so then you think the person that's got the confidence is boasting and full of ego. That's quite typical to hear that from a Leo as well, by the way. So that person was shocked to hear that they were more in their ego than the person that actually took the time to access their confidence and so on and so forth. And so Leos have a tremendous, beautiful amount of confidence that they can always fall back on. Then you have some very rare Leos that are convinced and that will fight for their limitation to stay limited, for their limitation to say, no, I don't believe in myself. None of this is true. And that's somebody you can't argue with. Just leave them. Let them be where they're at. By the way, and that person, I'm not saying they're right, wrong, good, or bad either. It's just where they're at. Okay, so let's move on to Virgo. I hope that you're finding this useful. Ah, great, 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 great. A very wise decision is what shifts the trajectory of your life, dear Virgo. So this is a wise decision that you get to access in your life. I'm just kind of sitting here going, is that going to necessarily happen today? The decision is already in your sphere. I'm not sure that you may necessarily access it today. Maybe in the next 2 to 3 days, you'll start to feel this energy of aliveness. And this energy of aliveness is what will guide you to this wise decision. And this wise decision, is what then shifts the trajectory. What's interesting here, however, is you're not aware that the trajectory needs to be shifted. Something in your life has to change, and that something is the trajectory of your life. So, what you'll find is that the direction of your life begins to shift towards a space, and I want to say a space or a vision that's been sitting on the side burners for the recent few years. You haven't had the time or energy or for this vision. So you've gone in a direction that's almost the opposite of this vision. The wisdom that you access because of the aliveness that you feel in the next 2 to 3 days, that decision is one of the wisest decisions that you will make this year, which will shift the trajectory. I can't even say that word, sorry. Meaning that the direction begins to shift and a vision that's been sitting on the side burner is what starts to come alive again. And that's for the Virgos. That's a great one. I'm excited about that. Some things that I'm sharing don't necessarily land on the day. Sometimes they're like in and around a day or 2 days or 3 days. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. Okay, where are we at for time? Pretty good. We're half an hour in and we're halfway through. We're going to jump into the Librans now. Okay, Librans. I've already done the 2026 yearly theme for the Librans, and part of that, just so you know, is going to be about listening. Because one thing that's really missing, I feel, from the Librans is your ability to listen, your ability to pay attention and hear what your body is asking you for. And so it's on repeat. It's the same thing over and over again. Now, there's a little bit of a shift today in how you can make sure that you support healing in your life. So just, yeah, okay, beautiful. Love it. Use words for healing, dear Libra. Okay, and what this means is that you need to shift the words that you're using, shift the conversation, in particular that inner dialogue that you're having, which is what will then support healing to take place in your life, in your body, perhaps even in your relationships. And I'm sharing this because this is now a requirement for the Librans. It's necessary that you are conscious of the words that you are using when you're talking about yourself, let's say, when you're talking about your experience, when you're talking about your body. And I'm not suggesting that necessarily you go, oh, everything's positive, positive, positive. That's not what I'm referring to, because then you're deluding yourself. Of course, sometimes there's negativity that's moving through you. Sometimes there are lower vibration emotions, lower vibration thoughts. All of that is part of the process. It's not something you can just get rid of, nor do you need to. What you can do, however, is start to have new conversations with yourself. Start to tell your body that healing is taking place. Start to tell your body whatever it is that you love to experience, bring that into the here and now and have that conversation with your body. And just so you're aware, as you do this, the parts of you that feel unhealed are the parts of you that will first require a voice. So what you'll find is that it may get quite noisy at first because there are parts of you that are unhealed, and those parts of you need to rise to the surface so that you can see them, so that you can hold space for them, so that you can provide a platform for them to feel heard and seen. Until these unhealed parts are not, for as long as, they're not heard and seen, healing won't take place. So by having a new conversation with yourself, with your body, your mind, what you're doing is you're essentially opening a door and saying to the unhealed parts of you, I am inviting you now to rise, to have a conversation. I'm allowing you space. I want to hear you, feel you, and see you. Well, of course, healing takes place once you feel, heard, and seen. You have such a great ability. You, me, we all do. Whether we use this great ability or not is a different story. However, we all have such a powerful and great ability through present moment awareness for healing, for change, transformation, so on. And sometimes that great ability can be used in the form of just simple words. Now, it's not enough to have it's not enough to have just one conversation and say, for example, to your body, oh, you're healed. Okay, great, you're healed. I'm going to move on. No, by letting your body know you are healing or there is healing taking place, you're going to invite all the unhealed parts of you. That's how you heal. And so it's holding space for all those unhealed parts of you. Not just Librans, I'm talking about all of us. And sometimes doing that can be very difficult. It feels a lot easier at times to distract ourselves from honoring the unhealed parts of us. It's not easy to do things like that. And I often, you'll hear me say on all of these lives or in sessions or groups that I run, it's not easy. And I say it's not easy because I feel like you need to hear that. I feel like I'm not sitting here saying, oh, come on, guys, get your shit together. This is easy. Why aren't you doing this and that and that? Hopefully I don't come across that way. I understand that even practicing present moment awareness on the darker days, more difficult days, is something that can be incredibly difficult. There are moments of ease and grace that we all get to experience thanks to the practice that we do. However, to keep bringing your attention back to the present moment and not being consumed by thoughts and ideas from the past or anxieties or any content, to not be consumed by that content, that takes a lot of work. Imagine you're sitting there in the morning, you're having a cup of coffee, tea, whatever you like. How many thoughts are crossing your mind that you are plugged into and consumed by? A thought, oh shit, how am I going to pay the rent? Or another thought, how am I going to do this? Or maybe people don't like me. Or maybe all these thoughts. And they're so entertaining and convincing that we're constantly plugged into these thoughts. So our job then becomes to unplug. How do we unplug? Removing our attention from the thought. Keep bringing your attention back to the flow of the breath, sensations, and keep remembering. Practice this over and over and over and over again. Then you start to recognize, then how natural it feels to be in the present moment. And then you start to recognize the power that you have and what you can do with your power. Okay, that's just a side note there. We're going to jump into Scorpio now. Oh, good. Okay, great. Again, going back to that one line. Do you know, I can't tell if people are here or not. Oh, no, there it is. But I don't know who's here, just so you know. I have no idea. Sometimes you'll get like a love heart or something. I don't know who's done that. It's very different from the Instagram live. The Instagram live is a lot easier. I can see people that are on, questions, messages. Okay, for the Scorpio. Hey, Emma. Okay, Ems, I can see you there. See, I don't even know that you're here. Okay. Tara. Okay. Miss Watson. Nice to see you again. I didn't know you were here. No idea. So I guess maybe sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself. Very good at that. Okay. So for the Scorpio. The dust settles and leaves room for peace, dear Scorpio. I love this for you because it's feeling that deep inner peace that then allows you to also connect with the bigger picture. So I want to go as far as saying perhaps what's been missing in recent times is your connection to the bigger picture. And so you've been focused on, it's almost like you've been sitting in a room and the windows have all been closed and the doors have all been closed. And for whatever reason, you've been looking down the whole time and you kind of look up a little bit and realize, oh shit, there's doors and windows in this room. I didn't know that. And so as you get up and you open the doors and windows and you notice the fresh air come in, and there's that moment of great peace that you get to feel. Now, this is just an analogy. It's the picture that comes to me that I'm sharing with you in words. And whilst you're sitting there in that room that has felt dark and you've been looking down, you've also been plugged into thoughts and ideas that have been saying, for example, there's no air in here, there's no windows, there's no doors, I can't do anything different, I'm stuck. That's been on repeat for quite some time. And so the shift that happens today is, when I say the dust settles, what it means is that there's an understanding that you arrive at that gets you to look up and go, wow, I can open doors and windows, there's fresh air. Everything these thoughts were telling me were lies. So there's that moment when you realize that every thought is a lie. When you recognize that everything these thoughts have been telling you have been lies, then of course you're naturally at peace. Nothing disturbs us from our peace more than our own thinking. Oh, how true is that though? Yeah, claustrophobic. Yeah. Oh, no, 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 no. I don't like claustrophobia. Sometimes I feel like I get this even like if I'm on a plane, which I haven't been on for a while, thank goodness. I have my moments. And I have to really remind myself it's okay because I'm like, I need to open a window. Oh my God, I need to open a window. Even sometimes when I'm just driving in my car, I'm like, quick, open a window. That's claustrophobia, I guess. But yes, I energetically, Isabella, I get that that would feel very claustrophobic, especially for a Scorpio. Scorpios need space. Scorpios need open windows, doors, fields, oceans. They can't be in tiny little spaces that feel dark and have those intrusive thoughts. I mean, nobody can really, but some handle those places better than others. Scorpios need space, a lot of space, air. They need to be able to feel like they can breathe life in and out all at once. Whew. Okay, that's my feeling around Scorpios. My mum is a Scorpio, so I know them pretty well. Okay, now I forgot that you were a Scorpio, Isabella. So, Sagittarius? Okay. A moment of realization allows you to shift focus. I must admit, I feel that the less I know, the more empowered I am. Because I'm forced to stay in the here and now and access intuition. But the more I know, then the less empowered I am because now I'm relying on information, and the majority of the time, information is not true. Yeah. So being able to rely on your intuition and sometimes being forced to rely on your intuition is actually a great problem to have. Okay, so for the Sagittarius today. So a moment of realization allows you to shift your focus, dear Sagittarius. This is, I want to say, really great news for you because the problem has been for such a long time what you've been focusing on. And you've been focusing on tiny little problems and tiny little issues and giving so much of your energy and attention to all these tiny details that have just been problems and issues that you haven't been able to take a moment to kind of sit back and go, hang on, what am I focusing my attention on? What is it that I love? What am I doing? What decisions am I making? There are an array of decisions that you continue to make that are on repeat from 10 years ago. It's the same stuff over and over and over again. Now, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm not suggesting that there's anything wrong with you. We all do this, right? Until we choose to be in the present moment, until we choose to remove our attention from those thoughts and ideas from the past. So you're on a repetitive pattern from 10 years ago. There's a moment in time where you shift your focus and bring it back to present moment awareness. And you get to see yourself with fresh eyes. And you get to see a capacity that you've had all along. It's almost like a light that you've had that you've dimmed because of this particular pattern. And so today, that light, you've got your hand on the dimmer and you can turn the light up. Is that how you say it? Turn the light up, something like that. And so that then you're able to start to see the light. You're able to start to see, okay, what am I focusing my energy and attention to? And what is it that I now need to change in my life? And honoring these changes from a space that feels present, not trying desperately to make changes from fear and that pattern that I just referred to. You know, I want to share this, and I guess we're all on our journey. So this is a part of being on the journey that we're on. I was pondering on this early this morning about decisions and how often our decisions are made based on fear, limitation, and lack. So many times, you just think about this for a second. Let's just say, I'm going to say we because we all go through this. It's not like I'm here better than you are. No one's better than anyone. We are so involved with the thoughts in our minds and so enrolled in them. And most thoughts are derived from fear, lack, and limitation, nothing else. They're not powerful. They're not from a space of power. Even though they may whisper words that appear to be powerful, it's not. So these thoughts are limitation. What we don't realize is we're thinking a thought, and then all of a sudden we make a decision based on that thought. And that thought is telling us that we're limited or that we are stuck or we're in lack or whatever it may be. And we don't realize it's a thought. We think that that's really what's happening. And it's like, oh, shit, I got to get my shit together. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and make this great big change in my life. But the great big change is coming from a space of fear, which means there's a lot of emotions involved. And that is a change that we will continue to suffer and struggle through. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, good or bad. It's just a different experience. The other experience is disidentifying from the thought, whatever it may be. So once we disidentify from the thought, how do we do that? Bring our attention to feeling sensations, coming back to the here and now. Being present long enough to recognize that we can disidentify from that thought. And once we're disidentified from that thought, we're in the here and now. Whatever emotion and story is connected to that thought, which is usually lack, fear, limitation, we're not plugged into it anymore. And through present moment awareness, we have access to intuition and true decisions that are already available to us. Those true decisions we access those true decisions in the here and now come from a completely different space. There's no fear, lack, or limitation in those true decisions. And that is using our power. Otherwise, we're disempowered because of fear, lack, limitation, and all the thoughts and stories that we're identified with. I hope that can make some sense. I was just pondering on that. That was my morning. That's what I was pondering on this morning. Like, wow, so many thoughts are just, decisions are just based on comparison, fear, lack, limitation. And we think we're getting somewhere, but we're not getting anywhere with them. That's why we keep going around in spins. But a true decision, you won't go around in spins. A true decision doesn't have any emotion involved. A true decision doesn't have the up and down roller coaster. Doesn't mean the roller coaster is not there. It's there so that you don't go up and down with it anymore. I never understood what that meant until, of course, you reach 40-something and things change and you start to learn a lot more and grow. Okay, so Capricorn, where are we at? Oh, we're getting there for time. Okay, perfect. So focus on celebrating the small wins at the moment, dear Capricorn. And this is going to need to remain your focus for the next little while because there are going to be lots of small wins in your life. There's a part of you that's desperately seeking that really big win. And I say desperately seeking. And so your job now becomes to understand why this part of you is desperately seeking that big win. What do you think is missing that you're now starting to look for a really big win? So it feels to me that there's an idea that something is missing from you or from your life. And usually it's a form of validation. So if I, for example, climb this massive big mountain, everyone's going to see how great I am, that I'm capable and I've got the capacity to do so. And the audience will clap, so on and so forth. This is just words I'm using, of course. And then I'm going to be happy. That's not going to happen. By you focusing on the small wins, your greatest opportunity will be to start to notice the part of you that is desperately seeking these big wins and why that part of you needs these big wins. The reason you need to observe that part of you is because if you start to make decisions from the part of you that's desperately seeking these big wins because it lacks validation, then you'll continue to create situations where that part of you is operating more so than any other part, which means that you'll keep going out there chasing the big wins. And I feel like I want to say, you already know what happens when you're out there in the big wide world chasing the big wins and how exhausting that is and how draining that becomes for you, and also leads to unwanted decisions. So you have a great opportunity in your life at the moment, dear Capricorn, and that is just focus simply on the small wins. Every single day, focus on 1, 2, 3 small wins, and then continue to make decisions, follow through, move forward. So true. I feel like that's once we recognize the part of us that's seeking the validation, not right or wrong, there's nothing wrong with that part. But that part needs to be recognized so that it can have a platform and become expressed. Once it's expressed and we don't keep repressing that part of us, then we don't need to go out there chasing the big wins. And that's when so many things begin to shift. That's for the Capricorns today anyway. Okay. Where are we? Aquarius. Beautiful. It's amazing. Shifting. It's all about shifting focus at the moment. So the most important message for the Aquarians at the moment, dear Aquarius, is don't lose yourself in the stories. You need to keep shifting your focus. And what this means for you guys is about recalibrating, recentering, recalibrating. So your entire day today is about recentering and recalibrating, continuing to bring your attention back to the present moment, flow of the breath. And the reason for this is because there's going to be lots of different stories that are unfolding, lots of different thoughts that are going to be crossing your mind. Usually when you're at a time in your life where the mind feels like chaos, it's because there's old stuff moving through. And so we have a tendency to complicate this. When there's old stuff moving through, what we tend to do is grab onto this old stuff and then create meaning out of it and then dig a bigger hole for ourselves. Step back, recalibrate, refocus, recenter yourself. That's what your entire day is about. And it may necessarily be what your entire day is about for the next couple of days. So don't give energy and attention to all of these thoughts and create new meanings out of them. The best thing to do is to continue recalibrating and refocusing your energy and attention. Okay, so that's done. And I just realized I may have to do that video again because it looks like my video just turned off. Oh no, that's okay. Once I get off the call, I'll do it again. So when I do it again, it's the same content. It doesn't change, but the words may differ a little bit, but it's the same energy. So that's for the Aquarians today. It's just about recalibrating. Just write down the words, recalibrate, and recenter, and understand that that's what your day is about. And each time you take a breath in, I'm recentering, I'm recalibrating, I'm bringing my attention to the here and now. So that's the work that the Aquarians need to do today to keep focusing their attention on staying in the here and now, so that these stories and these old parts of you that are rising to the surface have the space to also be released. Okay, so we've got Pisces. Let's hope this one works. Oh, cool. Okay, I didn't know this about Pisces today. Some of you may know I'm a Piscean. By the way, just so you know, I get surprised with the forecast as well. So some people have this idea. I know because I get messages like, oh, you can just say whatever you want for yourself and about yourself because you're the one delivering the forecast. No, it doesn't work that way. I wish I could. I'd do the same for you, but it doesn't work that way. Okay, so for the Pisces today, you're learning, and you also learn today, dear Pisces, the power of being attention to detail. And I feel like being attention to detail at the moment in your life is what will support you to continue to bring your attention back to the present moment. And through being in the present moment, your opportunity is going to be that you've got a few decisions that have been sitting on the side burner. And these are decisions that will make a tremendous shift for you moving forward. They're decisions that will support a shift in your life more towards, as we say, 2023. Sorry, more towards 2026. Your opportunity at the moment is, as you are attention to detail and you keep bringing your focus and attention into the here and now, there are some details in your life that maybe in recent years you've not taken the time to give attention to. And so whilst you haven't been able to do that, you've missed steps along the way. And so one step in particular is going to become incredibly clear for you today because you focus on attention to detail. And the lesson for you is that you need to remain attention to detail. The details matter for you at the moment, in particular whilst you're bringing a dream to fruition. Whatever dream it is that you're working on, bringing to fruition, the details make a tremendous difference. So please make sure that you're not overlooking them. Okay, and that's for the Pisces. Sorry, I actually got distracted then. I'm actually going to have to do the Pisces one again because my phone is saying that it doesn't have enough storage. So it wasn't able to video record. So what you'll find, it'll come out a little bit later on YouTube and Instagram, is Aquarius and Pisces may sound a little bit different, but the energy is still the same. And that is, it's 8:57 a.m. We did it. We're done. That's the forecast for today. Just a reminder, I'm not here on weekends. I will do my best to deliver the forecast, of course, but I won't be doing them live. And I'll be back again next week. I'm running a retreat, I think from Thursday next week for about 5 or 6 days. I'm still considering whether I'll be able to do these lives. That's a lot of energy. Lives, then the daily forecast, then running the retreat. And the retreat goes from morning till evening. And then I've also got a whole bunch of walk and talks. So somewhere I think something's going to have to give. I can't give attention to everything. So I may not do live streaming for about 7 days. But I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your support. It makes a tremendous difference. Have a wonderful day. And see you, Ems. Love you back. And I'll catch up with you guys again, hopefully next week. Thank you.